Hi, my friends and family. Welcome back and welcome if you're new. This is Trey's Myths and Tunes. Today, my discussion is entitled The Fear of God is the Begging of Ignorant Slaves to Remain Captured. That's why maybe instant karma's gonna get you. Gonna knock you off your feet. Because we're all in this thing called Earth together. You and me and everyone you meet. So let's make it divine Gaia again. 'Cause the devil really is not your friend. Who in the world do you think you are? Well, you're a superstar. Right you are. For we all shine on. Like the moon and the stars and the sun. For we all shine on. Everyone on and on. We all shine on. The fear of God is actually the beginning. Fear of God is actually the begging of ignorant slaves to remain captured. In the Bible it says the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. At first I concluded this to be a mind control statement. Control by fear is obvious mind control. Then when I became a born-again Gnostic, I decided it meant that fearing the Creator was the beginning of wisdom, because then you will have reverence or respect for your Creator and begin to, live with respect. As a born-again Gnostic, I thought it meant fearing of the real prime Creator and her amazing gift of life. Then you will begin to obey your divine blueprint or your soul's mission here. Well, of course, I got that part correct. However, in a biblical context, it is obviously a control. First of all, God, the real one, she does not want you to be afraid. Why would your mother, father, or whatever you want to call it, want you to be afraid? If it's your real parent, or your real Creator, to protect you from harming yourself with freedom and experiment. If you are afraid of sin, which, as I've said, comes from an archery term meaning missing the real point of your life or your blueprint, excuse me, it may help you align with your spiritual purpose. Because when you sin or you completely miss the mark, it can show you how misaligned you are. Fear can align you. Fear aligns you with victimhood and slavery. Pardon me, the homemade bubble. However, in this context, it is, as Chuck Swindoll calls it, oriented to conflict. The idea of original sin itself is an extreme perversion. You are a sinner. You're inherently wrong. That idea is a sick perversion to begin with. You need to be redeemed, and your slave master will take better care of you here and in the afterlife as well, if you remain in morbid fear and obedience because of his wrath. Well, guess what, folks? The first grade spiritual kindergarten lesson here, the obvious truth is what we fear controls us. It's a truism. It's mostly always true. Sometimes the fear is actually preventing you from harm, because it's preventing you from going into the dangerous situation that you could harm yourself. However, even that can cause you to become socially inhibited or castrated geographically. If you allow the fear to control you. So this happens, with most of the best of us, even from the shadows. So do the shadow work, of course. Using fear as a form of control was, and will always be something only disrespectful, false usurper gods like Lucifer could conjure. What happens when you beg and plead with the narcissists when they upset you? Because, like I say, that's the image, the archetype of Lucifer. What happens when you get angry and beg? Or what happens when you get on your knees and beg them? They feed off the energy. They like it. They don't care what you want. They want your energy. It's simple as that. What an inversion. Fear is just for the little and inverted when it comes to spirituality. Western religion was nearly always all wrong because it used threats of violence, specifically the insane fake idea of burning in an eternal hell if you disobey God. Exoteric religion is literally dark ET politics, and the whole entire planet is going to have to face that sooner or later. USA is going to have to face that before they send their 18-year-olds to die for these fake gods in Israel. Okay? It's serious. It's not a joke. Burning in hell is what's going to happen on planet Earth if you obey these beings. Actually, it is obviously the opposite. Look at Israel. All who obey God there are burning in hell right now. Hell on earth, unleashed to control and torture the obedient in a living hell now. It's not a joke. This is a serious transmission, okay? But they think of it as a chess game, and they think of it as they think of all of us as an energy source, and it's a joke to them, even though they, because they have no respect, even though they're master mind control artists. So not after death, not after death, and beside all under God will remain in the position of willfully ignorant slaves in perpetuity as long as they remain afraid. That's why most of them can't ever go and watch my show. Look at the suffering and death, the fears pushed by fake authorities in 2020. I mean, we've never seen anything like it. What happened in 2020 was the biggest psychological and biological weapon warfare we've ever seen. And then Lahaina takes it to another level of violence. But who's talking about the 2,000 missing children besides me and several other people? Look at the results of this. The Old Testament story of Job is ridiculous when you think about it. It's probably an add-on. The book of Revelations, I think this character named John was channeling Lucifer, so now they're using it to implement the 7 years of hell. A Sisyphus is rewarded after punishment with hundreds of years of Groundhog Day until they give up on pushing that rock up the hill for God. A born-again and obedient psychological slave for the Elohim is like a Sisyphus psychologically until they give up on pushing that rock up the hill and reincarnating and suffering. And my friend David James Rodriguez once was talking about courage, and because people called him really courageous. He held up a sign with his girlfriend that said free hugs every Sunday during the lockdown, and had a big bonfire and a speech and a band every Saturday night. And he said, courage is something you have to renew daily, and when you act in courage and you believe in yourself, you don't become unafraid. You don't lose your fear. You either ignore your fear or you act through it. You go work through it. So it's you're not fearless. You do it anyway. You ignore the fears when you can, and if you feel like it's the right thing to do. This God, El, Anu, Yahweh, Lucifer, Enki, or this new AI system, whichever version or name you use, they have no respect for your soul, and that is why you remain afraid. Fact. in trauma bondage to this powerful, psychopathic, narcissist, predator, junior god, the heartless demiurge, or Saturn's, or in the Saturn Moon Matrix, you're controlled with Saturn's hexagram, beaming this program on you. You have to pay the rent. Saturn's hex grid. God is a massive energy vampire. Spiritual memory with no spiritual memory or connection to source. God can't remember the Divine Mother, the respectful original creator, or what that feels like. He can only feel it when he consumes us. Check Chuck Swindoll's video, Khazarian Mafia, the God Eaters. It explains how that works in much greater details. It is only animated, God, as you know it, is only animated and kept alive in a closed-loop system of siphoning your emotional energy and body physical energy, or which is called loose, or when you're angry or upset or mad, or worried, or even all the way to taking out your adrenochrome, or just narcissistic supply, okay? All of these have sourced from these black hole beings. You don't need a God. You are a God in amnesia. And if you remain capable of and willing to do harm to yourself or others in obedience to Lucifer, for example, psychologically to this powerful false God, slave master, false god slave master, you will never know her free love and creativity. Because see, the only way to become a god that's not an idiot when it comes to morality and self-respect is to become harmless. Then you can literally become free. But if you hurt yourself or others, you are still a fool for the dark side. And that goes for me too. I'm not 100% clear of it, but I'm working toward that, okay? You will know her free love when you are free of the karma to harm, when you refuse to harm others. God is literally within. It's not a joke. She is literally within us always. Religions, governments, the mainstream media, compulsory school systems that you were forced to go to, K through 12 or 1 through 12, wage slavery, forced to have this box control you if you're in this county and you had children 7 days a week if you're not specialized, and now forcing into existence of this humans 2.0 Luciferic slave race is just to, one of the main reasons they did all this is just to prevent your awareness of the truth and to try to continue the Saturn Moon Matrix, memory wipe, reincarnational, soul-sucking, slavery and perpetuity scams of our false father gods. That's what the whole thing's about. For God, war on earth and in heaven is forever. That's what they want. That's what the Anunnaki want. That's what the Elohim want. That's what Lucifer wants. Chaos theory, that's what they want. Because he has no respect for the real creator or humanity. Since we have her genetics mixed with their Syrian or dark side genetics, God continually keeps finding more invisibly advanced ways to dumb us down and new gadgets to keep us enslaved even more into the matrix, the AI. So as David Icke says in the title of his book, humanity, get off your knees. No matter how big the massive bribes and perks, get up and stop begging. Okay? God is an obedient slave for more abuse. The one gift you can be sure he'll give you. Thank you, sir. May I have another? Threats of violence and coercion, death threats, and killing those who tell the truth, a real God would not do. These overt crimes, the Western religion's concept of the mind of God is mostly only permanent hell on earth. Okay? Wake up to the obvious fact. Slavery and the mainstreaming of Satanism, just like the Catholics have done for centuries, the inversion and the Ouroboros snakes eating it all contacts God. All it contacts God's mind is a mental illness and violence epidemic until you turn off the TV and dogmatic churches fearlessly face the captors, no matter how terrifying it is.